Okay, Prabhuji, I'll share my screen. So I was thinking that Lord Balramji's birthday or appearance day is coming up. So I wanted to talk about some demons that are killed by Lord Balram. We'll talk about the demon Dvivida gorilla today, and then next time we'll talk about Dhenukasur and Pralambasur. So I'll start with this chapter. Lord Balram slays Dvivida gorilla. Just read the first verse. Shri Rajavacha Bhuyo Aham Shrotam Ichhami Ramasya Karmana Anantasya Prameyasya Yad Anyat Kritavan Prabhu. The glorious King Parikshit said, I wish to hear further about Sri Balram, the unlimited and immeasurable Supreme Lord, whose activities are all astounding. What else did he do? So now I'll just read few verses, their translations. Sri Shukdev Goswami said, there was an ape named Dvivida who was a friend of Narakasurs. This powerful Dvivida, the brother of Mainda, had been instructed by King Sugriv. So it is mentioned here that Dvivida gorilla in Treta Yuga was a Vanar, monkey in the Sugriv's army, and he was helping Lord Ram in his fight against Ravan to rescue Mother Sita. To avenge the death of his friend Naraka, and he was also the friend of, in Dwapar Yuga, he was a friend of Narakasur, whose another name is also Bhaumasur. To avenge the death of his friend Naraka, the ape Dvivida ravaged the land, setting fires that burned cities, villages, mines, and cowherd dwellings. So Dvivida, he was very angry at Krishna because Krishna killed his friend Narakasur. And because of that, Dvivida, he was creating a lot of disturbance in Dwaraka to take revenge. And Dvivida, he was completely justified in his mind to kill Krishna. Why? Because Krishna, he killed his innocent friend Narakasur. And one devotee I was hearing in the class, he was saying that many times we have justification to show our anger, to show our vengefulness. That fellow, he did this to me, therefore I'm justified to do this to him. So like that, here you see Dvivida gorilla, he was justified that Krishna did something wrong. And that devotee I was hearing, he was giving the example of Jarasandh, in his mind, he was justified to kill Krishna. What was his justification? That both of my daughters were married to Kansa and Krishna killed Kansa, so he's my enemy. So because Krishna made my daughter's widow, therefore I am justified in my mind to, Krishna is my enemy. So like that, so here we see Dvivida, he's justified in his mind to kill Krishna because Krishna killed his friend. Once Dvivida tore up a number of mountains and used them to devastate all the neighboring kingdoms, especially the province of Anarta, wherein dwelt his friend's killer, Lord Hari. Another time he entered the ocean and with the strength of 10,000 elephants churned up its water with his arms and thus submerged the coastal regions. So Dvivida, he was very powerful. Mentioned here the power of 10,000 elephants. And he's creating the disturbance in the sea where Dwaraka sits, and he's flooding all these cities and villages. The wicked ape tore down the trees in the hermitages of exalted sages and contaminated their sacrificial fires with his feces and urine. So Dvivida, he would go to the hermitages of great saintly persons and sages and create a disturbance by destroying their beautiful gardens. And would pass urine and stool and on their sacrificial arenas. It would pollute the entire atmosphere. Just as a wasp imprisons smaller insects, he arrogantly threw both men and women into caves in a mountain valley and sealed the caves shut with boulders. So he would kidnap innocent people and would imprison them. Once, while Dvivida was thus engaged in harassing the neighboring kingdoms and polluting women of respectable families, he heard a very sweet singing coming from a Raivataka mountain. So he went there. So Dvivida, he was forcibly raping women of aristocratic family. So many horrible activities that he was performing. So I want to pause here in further reading and discuss how Dvivida reached to this stage of being so sinful. So we mentioned that Dvivida Gorilla in Treta Yuga, he was a great Vanar in Sugriv's army, and he was helping Lord Ram in fight against Ravan. Dvivida, he risked his life to rescue Sita Devi, and he was extraordinarily successful. He killed many Rakshasa soldiers of Ravana. But because of that, of being successful, he developed pride. He started competing with Lakshman to get Lord Ram's attention, and he developed envy towards Lakshman. And due to this offense against Lakshman, the same Dvivida, uh, who was a great devotee in Treta Yuga, he became a demon in the Dwapar Yuga. And he associated with Bhaumasur, who was another demon. So like that, he became a demon. In this verse, in second verse, in the purport, it's mentioned. Srila Jiva Goswami points out some interesting facts about the ape Dvivida. Although Dvivida was an associate of Lord Ramachandra's, he later became corrupted by bad association of with the demon Naraka. As stated here, Narakasya Sakha. This bad association was a reaction of an offense Buddha had committed when, being proud of his strength, he disrespected Lord Ramchandra's brother Lakshmana and others. So Dvivida, he became demoniac due to his association with another demon, Bhaumasur. So now I want to talk about Bhaumasur. Um, it's a similar situation. How Bhauma and we so Bhauma was the son of Varahadev and Bhudevi. Bhudevi taught her son, and Bhauma was a great devotee. And when he became 5 years old, Lord Varahadev, who was his father, gave him initiation, a Brahmin thread. So we see Bhauma's guru is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Varahadev. And Varahadev trained him to serve the devotees, trained him to fight for the demigods. And Bhauma, he became the protector of Dharma and the servant of the Vaishnavas. So then, what went wrong? How did Bhauma became Bhaumasur? And Bhaumasur is another name of Narakasur. So Bhauma became Bhaumasur when he fell in bad association with Banasur. Now let's see who is Banasur. Now Banasur is a son of a great Mahajan Bali Maharaj. So I have this family hierarchy here. So we have Kashyap Muni, who has two wives, Diti and Aditi. And from Aditi we get the demigods, and from Diti we get the demons. And Diti had her son Hiranyakashipu, who was a demon. And Hiranyakashipu's son Prahlad Maharaj was a devotee. And Prahlad Maharaj's son Virochan, he was a demon. And Virochan's son Bali Maharaj was a devotee. And Banasur, we're talking about here, is the son of Bali Maharaj. So we see here, interestingly, one generation is a devotee, another generation is a demon. So this Bana Sur, he was actually Bana. He was not a demon by birth. He was a great devotee. He's a son of the great Mahajan. Bali Maharaj, he taught his son Bana to become Dasa Dasanudas, servant of the Vaishnavas. And the greatest Vaishnava is Vaishnavanam Yathashambhu, Lord Shiva. So Bana became a great devotee of Lord Shiva. And he was very respectable, he was very generous, intelligent, truthful, and all those good qualities he had. And he used to play mridanga for Lord Shiva. When Lord Shiva danced, chanting the names of Lord Ram, he used to play mridanga. So he was doing nice Vaishnav seva. And he pleased Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva gave him the benediction of 1,000 arms so that he could play 500 mridangas at once. So Bana, he got this benediction of 1,000 arms, and his arms became very strong. And what happened? Because of that, he became proud of his strength. And this was a fall down. And Bana, because of his pride, he became Banasur. He became proud of Mridanga playing, and he became intoxicated with his strength. And pride cometh before fall. and Krishna does not tolerate pride in his devotees. So when Bana became Banasur, he started abusing other people, torturing them, fighting with them with his 1,000 arms. And uh, and Lord Shiva was kind of like his guru, when he told Lord Shiva, these 1,000 arms that you have given me, they have become a very heavy burden. I don't have anyone in the three worlds worthy enough to fight with me. So you come and fight with me. So he's saying like that to Lord Shiva, come on, you fight with me. So Lord Shiva, he was disgusted. He said to Banasur, you just wait and you will meet your match soon. So, so like that, Banasur, he displeased Lord Shiva and he offended Lord Shiva, the great Vaishnava. So we see that, so in this pastime of Banasur, we see that Bana, he was doing a service to a Vaishnava, Lord Shiva, and he became proud of his service. So lesson for us in here is that we need to be careful in Krishna consciousness. It is mentioned that this path of self-realization is very difficult. This verse, Uttishta Jagrata Prapya Varan Nibodhata Shurasya Dhara Nishita Durattaya Durgam Pathastad Kavayo Vadanti. That this path of spiritual realization is very difficult, just like a sharp as razor's edge. A little inattention and there will be blood. So even in our services that we can become proud. And if you're able to do something nicely for Krishna, like give lectures or sing nicely, do kirtan nicely, uh, our we can become proud of that, and we can become proud of our sadhana of chanting regularly, of our knowledge of our shastras and number of verses we know. All of this can make us proud and will lead to our fall down. Like I was hearing Srila Prabhupada, he told this story about a Brahmana who never missed his Gayatri even once. And exactly in his three Sandhyas, like he would do his Sandhya Vandan, like Gayatri has to be done 3 times a day, and he would do it at the right time every day. And he became very proud that he never missed even once his doing his Gayatri, his sadhana. So Maya Devi wanted to trap him. So one day it happened that he was invited for prasadam, and he overate and he went home and he slept off, and it was becoming evening time and it was time for his Gayatri. Um, and he was going to miss his Gayatri the first time. And at that time, Maya Devi personally comes and whispers in his ears, wake up, Brahmana, it's time for Gayatri. So he woke up and he did his Gayatri just in time before sunset. I was very happy and he said, yes, I did not miss my Gayatri again. So now the associates of Maya Devi asked Maya Devi, why did you wake him up? You should have let him sleep. He would have missed his Gayatri, he would have fallen down. So Maya Devi said, no, no. Now he's fallen down. Because I woke him up, he chanted his Gayatri in time, and therefore his pride has increased even more. Now he's fallen. If he would not have woken up, then he would have missed his Gayatri, he would be humbled. He would think that, oh, my sadhana is not perfect. So like that instructive pastime. So if we think that my sadhana is not perfect, then that's a safe position. Pride is very dangerous. As, Especially we should never become proud of our success in devotional life. If we are making advancement, we are chanting nicely, we're reading nicely, hearing nicely, it should humble us. Like there is a saying that the more closer you get to Krishna, the more you know how much you don't know about Krishna, how great Krishna is and how insignificant I am, and how great other devotees are, and how insignificant fallen I am. So more advanced one becomes, more humble one becomes. And we can see the examples of our acharyas, what they say about themselves. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, who is the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, this is what he's saying about himself. Jagai madai hoite muni se papishtha, purishera kita hoite mui se lagishta. I am more sinful than Jagai and Madai, and even lower than the worms in the stool. Mora naam shunaye tara punya shay, mora naam laye tara papa hoy. Anyone who hears my name loses the results of his pious activities. Anyone who utters my name becomes sinful. Who in this world but Nityananda could show his mercy to such an abominable person as me? Because he is intoxicated by ecstatic love and his incarnation of mercy, he does not distinguish between the good and the bad. He delivers all those who fall down before him. Therefore, he has delivered such a sinful and fallen person as me. So we can see these great devotees, uh, what is their thought process. And this is not just for the sake of saying, they actually mean it. Um, we also have Haridas Thakur. I was reading in Chaitanya Charitamrita when Haridas Thakur was very, very old and sick. One time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to him and he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to fulfill his one desire. Haridas Thakur, he said, I don't want to see the closing chapter of your pastimes. Let me die in your presence at your lotus feet, looking at your moon-like face. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, that my dear Haridas, Krishna is so merciful that he must execute whatever you want. But whatever happiness is mine is all due to your association. So it is not fitting for you to go away and leave me behind. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that. And to that, um, Haridas Thakur responds here, a few verses from the Ante Leela, chapter 11, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Catching the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Haridas Thakur said, My Lord, do not create an illusion. Although I am so fallen, you must certainly show me this mercy. My Lord, there are many respectable personalities, millions of devotees who are fit to sit on my head. They are all helpful in your pastimes. My Lord, if an insignificant insect like me dies, what is the loss? If an ant dies, where is the loss to the material world? My Lord, you are always affectionate to your devotees. I am just an imitation devotee, but nevertheless, I wish that you fulfill my desire. That is my expectation. So we can see here Haridas Thakur, he is our Nam Acharya, the most elevated devotee, and he is saying that he is an ant, and millions of other devotees are better than him. And Mahaprakash Leela, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Haridas Thakur what benediction you want, Haridas Thakur said, I want to become a dog in the house of your devotees so that I can eat their remnants, and by getting their mercy, I can advance in Krishna Bhakti. So we should see these examples. We should always think like that, and that other devotees are more advanced than me, and by getting their mercy, I can get the mercy of Krishna. So I was hearing about the gopis. We know the gopis are the most exalted devotees of Krishna, and they felt that if they can't see Krishna for even one microsecond, the time it takes to blink the eyelid, they considered that as an obstruction, because they didn't want to miss seeing Krishna. They were so much attached to Krishna, and they were angry at Brahma for giving them eyelids. So this was their mood, that they never forgot Krishna for even a moment. Like we are such that we never remember Krishna, but gopis, they never forgot Krishna. But gopis' mood is, they tell Krishna that we are not devotees, we are very ordinary people. And Krishna has actually told them before, in Ras Leela pastimes, Canto 10, Krishna had told them that I am not able to repay your debt for your spotless service, even within the lifetime of Brahma. That you have worshipped me, cutting off all your domestic ties, which is very difficult to break. Therefore, please let your own glorious deeds be your compensation. So Krishna has already told them this. I cannot repay your debt. I cannot reciprocate with your love. But we see when gopis, they meet Krishna in Kurukshetra, and this comes towards the end of the 10th canto. This is chapter 82. Gopis are meeting Krishna. So what are they telling Krishna? They're telling that I have no love for you. Ahuscha te nalina nabha padarvindam yogeshware ridhi vichintayam agad bodhe samsara kupa patito tarana balambam geham jusham api manase udiyat sadanah. So gopis are saying that, oh lotus naveled Krishna, we offer our respects at your beautiful lotus feet. You are the personality whom the greatest yogis meditate upon with great intensity and austerities and endeavor. These stalwart Vaishnavas, they remember you, and you are the object of meditation, of great perfect yogis. You are their property. They are the ones who deserve to be with you. And we are ordinary women absorbed in materialistic household activities. So they're saying samsara kupa patito tarana valambham, that we are absorbed in materialistic well of sense gratification. And geham jusham api manase udiyat sadana, that we are absorbed in household activities. So then they are saying that we beg you that in our mind let there be a rising of the Son of Krishna. We beg you to rise in our mind and heart because we are not able to remember you at all. We don't love you. We have no affection for you as compared to these other great devotees. So here gopis, they are taking a lower position than the the devotees who Krishna doesn't even call as devotees. They're saying these mystic yogis and highly learned philosophers are better than us. Um, so, like that, we can see this example of the most exalted devotees, the gopis. They're taking a very humble position, keeping themselves lower than others. Um, yeah, that's called a self-effacing nature, to keep oneself lower than others, to keep oneself in the background, and Krishna and other devotees in the front, and consider other devotees to be more dear to Krishna than us. And same thing we see in the case of Rukmini Devi. We read that pastime before. Rukmini Devi, she wrote a letter to Krishna calling him to come and kidnap her. In her letter, in the final prayer in her letter, she says, um, that O lotus-eyed one, great souls like Lord Shiva hanker to bathe in the dust of your lotus feet. I am nothing in front of them. I am so insignificant and unqualified that I don't deserve to receive the dust from your lotus feet. Therefore, I am begging you to come and pick me up. But if you don't come, my lord, it's understandable that you won't come because I'm so insignificant. That if you decide not to give me mercy, I will for thousands and thousands of births will perform severe austerity, will give up my body, I will die and will perform austerity again, and I will depend on you humbly so that in some lifetime I may be able to get your mercy. So we can see here too, Rukmini Devi is thinking that who am I compared to others? Why would I get Krishna's mercy? I am nothing. Then in the pastime of Sudama Brahmana, Sudama is so dear to Krishna. When Sudama Brahmana he visited Krishna in Dwarka, we see how Krishna greets Sudama. As soon as Krishna hears the name Sudama, he gets up from his throne and he runs outside of his palace to meet him and embrace him. Then he seated Sudama on his bed, and Rukmini Devi, she was fanning Sudama in humble submission. And Krishna, he was washing his feet, and Krishna worshipped him with sandalwood, incense, and lamps, and he spoke very pleasing words to Sudama. So here I was thinking Krishna is showing us by his own example how we should be humble. Um, Even we see in the Rajasuya Yagna of Yudhishthir Maharaj, it's mentioned that everybody took in different services at the Rajasuya Yagna. We had the Dushasan and Duryodhan, they took up the service of prasad distribution and finance management services like that. Different people took different responsibilities, but what was the service that Krishna took? Krishna took the service of washing the lotus feet of all the guests of Yudhishthir Maharaj. You can see uh, the humility Krishna is showing. And in Rajasuya Yagna, the concept of Agra Puja was prominent. So the most exalted person gets worshipped first. And unanimously in the assembly of great personalities, there was Narad Muni, Bhishma Deva, and many other great personalities. Everybody decided that Krishna should be the recipient of this Agra Puja, should be the first one to be worshipped. And we see what Krishna was doing at that time. He was simply sitting on the floor washing the lotus feet of all the guests. So Krishna is showing us by his own example that we should be humble servant of the servant. So in this Sudama's pastime, Krishna, he greeted him with so much respect and like that. And it is described that what other residents of Dwarka were thinking when Krishna was giving him so much respect and washing his feet. So the residents of the palace, said, "What pious acts has this unkept, impoverished Brahmana performed? People regard him as lowly and contemptible, yet the spiritual master of the three worlds, the abode of goddess Shri, is serving him reverentially. Leaving the goddess of fortune sitting on her bed, the Lord has embraced this Brahmana as if he were an older brother." So everyone was thinking how exalted Sudama is, that Lord Krishna is serving him like this. But we see when Sudama is returning from Dwarka and remembering how Krishna treated him, what does Sudama think? Sudama says, this is next chapter. Sudama thought, "Lord Krishna is known to be devoted to the Brahmanas, and now I have personally seen this devotion. Indeed, he who carries the goddess of fortune on his chest has embraced the poorest beggar. Who am I, a sinful, poor friend of a Brahmana? And who is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, full in six opulences? Nonetheless, he has embraced me with his two arms. He treated me just like one of his brothers, making me sit on the bed of his beloved consort. And because I was fatigued, his queen personally fanned me with a yak-tail chamara. Although he is the lord of all demigods and the object of worship for all Brahmanas, he worshipped me as if I were a demigod myself, massaging my feet and rendering other humble services." So Sudama is saying that, "Oh, I am so fallen. I am so sinful. Who am I? I'm a Brahma Bandhu. I'm not even a proper Brahmana. I'm a second class person. And who is Krishna, the husband of goddess of fortune? He's such an exalted personality, but still Krishna embraced me." So Sudama, he did not feel that, "Oh, I am the chosen one. I got the special treatment from Krishna. I'm a very special personality," like that. So that's the thought process of the great exalted devotees. We can take lessons from them. They consider themselves fallen and insignificant and not worthy to receive mercy of Krishna. So as we are advancing on the spiritual path, we should become more and more humble. We should know that we can't even lift a finger without the sanction of Krishna. That Krishna is giving us all these abilities and the strength and the intelligence. And it's only because of mercy of Krishna and mercy of Guru and mercy of Vaishnavas that we are able to do any service. That we should be um, but if we think that we are the doers, like prakriti kriya manani guna karmani sarvasha ahankara vimuratma kartami iti manyate. If we think that we are the doers, uh, that uh, Krishna says ahankara vimuratma, if we become influenced by our false ego, then we'll become proud, and pride cometh before fall, will fall down. And if we think that we are the doers, then Krishna will withdraw his mercy, withdraw his empowerment. Or Krishna will continue to give us empowerment, which is like cheating in the sense that will make us puffed up, like the story we heard about that Maya Devi who waking up the Brahmana to do his Gayatri. She made him more puffed up by giving by making him like that. So this is called cheating empowerment because it is making us proud. And what happens when we are proud? We commit Vaishnava Prad. And Vaishnava Prad can ruin our bhakti and we will become demoniac. So like that, that's what happened in the case of Banasur. He became proud of his strength. He committed Vaishnava Prad and he fell down. He became from Bana, a great devotee, to Banasur. So when Banasuri became puffed up and he asked Lord Shiva to fight with him, Lord Shiva said, "You wait, you'll find your match." And one time when Banasur, he had captured Anirudh, and Anirudh is Krishna's grandson, who wanted to marry Usha, who is Banasur's daughter. Um, Krishna and Pradyumna, they came to fight with Banasur. And we see that at that time, actually Lord Shiva and Kartikeya, they joined on the side of Banasur and they fought against Krishna. And there was a fierce battle between Lord Shiva and Krishna. Lord Shiva was on the side of Banasur. And Shiva, we hear he released his weapon of Shiva Jwal. And seeing the Shiva Jwal, Krishna released his weapon Vishnu Jwal. And the Shiva Jwal, it was defeated by the Vishnu Jwal and began offering prayers to Lord Krishna and asking for forgiveness. And Krishna gave him forgiveness and mercy. And then Krishna, he fought with Banasur, and he cut all of his arms except for four, to destroy his false pride. But then Lord Shiva came in and prayed to Krishna to spare the life of his devotee Banasur. So, so in that way, Krishna destroyed the pride of Banasur. So that's the history of Banasur, um, how Bana, a great devotee, became Banasur. So then, due to the association with Banasur, Bhauma, who was a son of Varahadev and Bhudevi, became Bhaumasur. In one of the purports in Srimad Bhagavatam, so Bhauma, we said, was a son of Varahadeva and Bhumi Devi. He was a great devotee. But because he associated with Banasur, who was a demon, he became a demon. So in one of the purports, Prabhupada writes, it is a fact that even a person born of good parents can turn into a demon by bad association. Birth is not always the criterion of goodness. Unless and until one is trained in the culture of good association, one cannot become good. So we have to be very careful with who we associate with. If we associate with someone who has pride and envy, like here, Bhaumasur associated with Banasur. Banasur had pride and envy to other Vaishnavas, to Lord Shiva. Like, so if we associate with these people who have pride and envy, who talk rudely with others, who are not sensitive to others, who don't appreciate others, then because of their association, accepting them as our role model, we also start becoming like them unknowingly. So we would think that that's an acceptable behavior, like what and that person is doing, I can also do that. So like that association can really impact us. So that's a learning, that we should not associate with those who have demoniac tendencies of pride and envy. We should associate with only high class devotees who have all the qualities that we want to imbibe, all the good qualities. So like that, this example is given. Due to the association with Banasur, Bhauma became Bhaumasur. So this Bhaumasur, then he started attacking demigods, and so Bhaumasur was there to protect the demigods, but he started attacking demigods, um, and he stole Mother Aditi's earrings as an insult to demigods, and he stole the flag of the chariot of Varun Dev, and he stole 16,100 queens and made them prisoners. So this Bhaumasur, he actually heard that in one previous incarnation, Krishna married 16,108 queens. So he wanted to break Krishna's record. So all he needed was 9 more girls to get 16,109 girls and break Krishna's record. So that was his intention. It was very crazy. So what happened was, Indra, he came running to Dwarka and he complained to Krishna. Krishna, Bhaumasur has stolen my mother's earrings. So Krishna, he took Satyabhama on his chariot. So Satyabhama is actually none other than Bhudevi. And Bhaumasur is the son of Bhudevi and Varahadev. And Krishna, he wanted, why did he take Satyabhama with him? He wanted Satyabhama's permission to kill Bhaumasur. So Krishna called his Vahan Garuda, and on him Krishna and Satyabhama went, and Krishna, he gave warning to Bhaumasur that you give up your sinful ways, you return Aditi's earrings, you return the flag of Varun Dev, you make friendship with the demigods. They are all my missionaries. You are my child. You follow dharma. I will protect you. But Bhaumasur, he challenged Krishna, I will kill you. So with Sudarshan Chakra, Krishna killed Bhaumasur. And Krishna, he saved and married all those 16,100 princesses. Then when Krishna, he killed Bhaumasur, uh, that's when Dvivida Gorla, who was a friend of Bhaumasur, became angry at Krishna. So we'll go back to that past and I'll continue reading a few verses there. So Dvivida, he was creating all this disturbance in Dwarka, and he reached somewhere where he heard some sweet singing was coming from Revataka mountain. So he went there, and there he saw Sri Balram, the lord of the Yadus, adorned with a garland of lotuses, and appearing most attractive in every limb, he was singing amidst a crowd of young women. And since he had drunk Varuni liquor, his eyes rolled as if he were intoxicated. His body shone brilliantly as he behaved like an elephant in rut. So, here, Balramji was enjoying with his gopis, and this Varuni drink, it's not ordinary liquor, it's a celestial drink. So the Vivida came here to there to disturb Balramji. The mischievous ape climbed a tree branch and then revealed his presence by shaking the trees and making the sound kila kila. So here Balramji is enjoying with his gopis, and Dvivida is destroying the pleasing atmosphere, trying to disturb him. When Lord Baladev's consorts saw the ape's impudence, they began to laugh. They were, after all, young girls who were fond of joking and prone to silliness. Even as Lord Balram looked on, Dvivida insulted the girls by making odd gestures with his eyebrows, coming right in front of them and showing them his anus. Dvivida is coming before the woman and making very funny faces, and these girls, they're not taking him very seriously, and they're laughing and joking. And then we see Gurula is so rude that even in the presence of Balram, he began to show the lower part of his body to the woman. He was disrespecting the woman. Angered, Lord Balram, the best of the fighters, hurled a rock at him, but the cunning ape dodged the rock and grabbed the lord's pot of liquor, further infuriating Lord Balram by laughing and by ridiculing him. Wicked Dvivida then broke the pot and offended the lord even more by pulling at the girl's clothing. Thus the powerful ape, puffed up with false pride, continued to insult Sri Balram. Lord Balram saw the ape's rude behavior and thought of the disruptions he had created in the surrounding kingdoms. Thus the lord angrily took up his club and his plough weapon, having decided to put his enemy to death. So Dvivida, he was so puffed up that he thought Balram, he can't do anything to chastise me, and he continued to offend Balramji and his female friends. I want to skip few verses. It's about the fight between Lord Balram and Dvivida Gorilla. Dvivida, he's throwing stones and trees at Balramji, and Balramji is like playing cricket. He's hitting them away by his club. The furious lord of the Yadavas then threw aside his club and plough, and with his bare hands hammered a blow upon Dvivida's collarbone. The ape collapsed, vomiting blood. When he fell, O tiger among the Kurus, Raivataka mountain shook along with its cliffs and trees like a wind-tossed boat at sea. In the heavens, the demigods, perfect mystics, and great sages cried out, Victory to you, obeisances to you, excellent, well done, and showered flowers upon the Lord. Having thus killed Duveda, who had disturbed the whole world, the Supreme Lord returned to his capital as the people along the way chanted his glories. So we see that Balramji, how he killed the Veda gorilla with his bare hands. He had he pushed onto the Dvivida's collarbone and he vomited and he died. Now the question arises: why did Dvivida, who was angry at Krishna, not attack Krishna? Why did he attack Lord Balram? So, little more in the history of Dvivida. So, Dvivida, we heard that he fought to rescue Mother Sita. He was a great devotee of Lord Ram, servant of Sugriv. And what made Dvivida such a demon that in the war against Ravana, Dvivida, he was extraordinarily successful. He killed many Rakshas soldiers of Ravana and became proud of this. And everything starts with pride. When we become proud, we start to see faults in others. So Dvivida, he started seeing faults in Lakshman. So the first fault he saw was Lakshman got injured, and because of that, the battle had to be paused. And Hanuman had to fly to Himalayas to get the medicine for Lakshman. Lord Ramachandra is crying. This Lakshman, he was thinking, he's such a weakling. He cannot even he can't even protect himself, and he got injured. So like that, Dvivida was thinking, and he was thinking that, oh look, I did not get injured. I killed so many soldiers, but this Lakshman, he's so weak. He got injured. I'm better than Lakshman. So thinking like this, Dvivida um, wanted to associate more and more with Lord Ram. And because he was attracted to Lord Ramachandra, he wanted to personally serve Lord Ram, but he saw that Lord Ram, he was associating with Lakshman all the time. He would sleep with Lakshman, wake up with Lakshman, eat with Lakshman, go to bath with Lakshman, like that. Ram was associating with Lakshman, and Dvivida was saying, Ram is not associating with me, I am better than Lakshman. So in this way, Dvivida, he started seeing faults in Lakshman. So we see that he didn't speak anything. So it was not a physical offense. Only in his mind he was thinking like this, and in his mind he became envious of Lakshman, and no one knew about this. But his mind was polluted. And we know who's Lakshman. Lakshman is Guru Tattva. He's Adi Guru. He's Balram. If we don't respect Lakshman, we will not get Krishna. We will never get Lord Ram. So Dvivida, he wanted to serve Lord Ram without Lakshman. So this is like, I want to serve Krishna but not my Guru. And we have this verse, Yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasyate kathita he artha prakashante mahatmana. That only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master, the imports of the Vedic knowledge are automatically revealed. So we need to have equal respect to both Guru and Krishna. We should have this mentality of das anudas, should be a servant of the servant. So Dvivida should have thought that, oh, Lord Ram has such nice servants, Lakshman and Hanuman. Let me become their servant. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says, Naham Vipro Nachar Narpati, Napi Vaishya Shudro, Naham Varnichan Grahapati Na Vanasto Yatarva, Kintu Prodyan Nakhila Parmananda, Purna Matabidhir, Gopi Bhartu Pad Kamalir, Dasa Dasa Anudas. That we should be Dasa Dasa Anudas. So that's the safest position, to be the servant of Krishna and not be proud. So here we see Dvivida Gorila. He wanted to serve Krishna directly, but not willing to become a servant of devotees. So I was reading a nice article in Krishna Kathamrita Bindu about this topic of being a servant of Krishna. So I will read this. A story from South India, the importance of Vaishnav Seva. Obtaining the mercy of a pure devotee is an absolute necessity for those who aspire for the service and association of the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mahat kripa vina kaun karme bhakti nae, Krishna bhakti dure rahu, samsar nahi shay. Unless one is favored by a pure devotee, one cannot attain the platform of devotional service. To say nothing of Krishna Bhakti, one cannot even be relieved from the bondage of material existence. There is a story in the life of a great devotee, Kanchipurna, that nicely illustrates this principle. Kanchipurna was one of the 5 disciples initiated by Sri Yamunacharya, whom the members of the Sri Sampradaya considered to be his most intimate followers. So Sri Yamunacharya, I think he's the guru of Ramanujacharya from the Sri Sampradaya. So this Kanchipurna was the disciple of Yamunacharya also, meaning a god brother of Ramanujacharya. Although born in a Shudra family, Kanchipurna was famous throughout South India as a great Vaishnava. He resided in the city of Kanchipuram, where he daily offered the service of fanning the famous deity of Lord Vishnu known as Sri Varadaraj Swami. So he was doing service in the temple, fanning the deity of Sri Varadaraj. Kanchipurna's simplicity and devotion endeared him to Lord Varadaraj, so much so that the two of them began having daily conversations. So he was having a daily conversation with the Supreme Lord, Lord Varadaraj, in the temple. Everybody knew about that. Some of the local people found out about this, and the individuals began approaching Kanchipurna, requesting him to convey questions on their behalf to the Lord. Varadaraj Swami would reply, and then Kanchipurna would relate the answer back to the questionnaire. So people were coming to him asking questions. You should ask my this question to the Lord and give me the reply what the Lord said. So one day someone asked if they would go to Vaikuntha at the end of their life. Lord Varadaraj confirmed that after leaving his present body, that devotee would go to Vaikuntha. So someone came to Kanchipurna and asked him, "Can you ask Lord Varadaraj if I would go to Vaikuntha at the end of my life?" And he asked, and Varadaraj responded that yes, this devotee, he would come back to me in this lifetime. The desire arose in Kanchipurna's heart to know if he were going to go to Vaikuntha after his present life. However, he was too shy to ask about himself. The Lord knew the heart of his dear devotee, and few days later Varadaraj Swami asked Kanchipurna, "Is there anything that you want to ask me?" So there was a desire in Kanchipurna's heart that can I ask my Lord like whether I would come to Vaikuntha at the end of my life? So he had that desire, but he didn't say that. But Lord, he knew about it, and so he's asking, "Is there anything you want to ask me?" "No, no, I have no question," replied Kanchipurna. The Lord then insisted, "Kanchipurna, is there nothing that you want to ask me?" Finally, Kanchipurna revealed his heart. "My dear Lord, when will I go to Vaikuntha?" Varadaraj Swami cast a loving glance on his devotee and said, "Kanchipurna, you are my dear servant. I love you. But you will not go to Vaikuntha after this life. Although you have served me with great devotion, you have never served my devotee. Unless someone serves one of my devotees, they cannot enter into my abode." Here, the Lord told him that no, this life you will not come back to Vaikuntha because you have served me, but you have not served my devotee. Hearing the Lord's words, Kanchipuran stood there for a moment and then, without saying a word, he suddenly put the fan down on the altar and left. So he left his service. Immediately he left. Where did he go? Kanchipurna went searching for a devotee whom he could serve. Seeing famous all over South India, Being famous all over South India, it was not easy for Kanchipurna to find a devotee willing to accept his service. Although he tried and tried, no one would allow him to serve. Rather, everyone he approached said, "No, no, no, you're a great devotee. Lord Varadaraj personally talks to you. I cannot allow you to serve me. I'll go to hell." So he wanted to serve, but nobody was allowing him to serve. Finally, Kanchipurna took off his saffron cloth. Donning some white dress, he went to the home of one of his god brothers, disguised as a cowherd man. For 6 months he rendered service to that devotee's cows, always being careful to hide his face. After a short time his god brother noted his devoted service, and developed great affection for the mysterious cowherd man who was taking such good care of his cows, and asking for nothing in exchange. He began addressing the cowherd as, "My boy, my boy." However, the mysterious cowherd would neither speak nor allow anyone to get too close to him. Hence, no one knew his real identity. So Kanchipurna was performing this menial service for one of his god brothers and hiding himself. One day Kanchipurna got wet. Having only one set of white cloth, he went back to his small room to change into his saffron colored clothes. At that time his god brother happened to see him and realized who he actually was. "Kanchipurna, it's you. What are you doing? You will destroy me. I cannot allow you to render service to me. Rather, it is I who should serve you." So he got caught. Uh, and that person understood who he was. So Kanchipurna then returned to the temple of Lord Varadaraj. Seeing his dear devotee entering the temple, the Lord smiled upon him and said, "Kanchipurna, for 6 months you did menial service for one of my devotees. Now at the end of this life you can come to my abode." So Lord is saying, now you are ready to come to my abode because you have done menial service to a devotee. The Lord has reserved the right to only allow those persons entrance into his abode who have served one of his dear devotees. In Ante Leela 6.97 of the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur quotes from the Varha Puran. सिद्धिर्भवति वा नेति संशयो अच्युता सेविनां Nisamshaystu tad bhakti paricharyartatmanam. So this verse is saying that one may doubt whether the servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead will attain perfection. But there is absolutely no doubt that those who are attached to serving his devotee will attain perfection. So this verse is saying that if one is a servant of Krishna, then there is a doubt whether he can go back home back to Godhead. But one who is a servant of a servant, there is no doubt he will go back home back to Godhead. A similar statement is made by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada in his purport to Srimad Bhagavatam verse. Srila Narottam Das Thakur sings, Chhadiya Vaishnav Seva Nistar Paicche Keba, which means that unless one serves the Vaishnavas and Brahmanas, one cannot get liberation from the material clutches. I thought this was a nice pastime, and we have several verses like this. And Krishna tells Arjuna in Mahabharata, "Ye me bhakta jana partha na me bhaktaschate jana. Mad bhakta nam chahiye bhaktas te me bhakta tamamataha." Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, those who are my direct devotees are actually not my devotees, but those who are the devotees of my servant are actually my devotees. And Lord Shiva also tells Parvati, Aradhna nam sarvesham Vishnur aradhanam param. Tasmat parataram Devi tadyanam samarchanam. Of all types of worship, worship of Lord Vishnu is the best. But better than the worship of Lord Vishnu is the worship of his devotees, the Vaishnavas. And so I heard this nice statement that we should not aspire to be a great devotee. We should aspire to always serve a great devotee. So the lesson for us is to become Das, Das, Anudas. So another lesson from this pastime of Dvivida Gorla we need to learn is that we think because we are engaged in service, I am protected from Maya. I'm engaged in service, let's say preparing for Janmashtami in the temple. I'm doing this for Krishna. I'm doing this for Srila Prabhupada. I'm doing this for the temple president who has told me to do this. I'm a servant of the servant. But we think that um, I have been given this leadership position. Everything has to be perfect. So I have the right to chastise others, to speak rudely to others. If we think that they're not doing something right, we can talk down upon them or ill treat them like that. So we think that we are doing service and we are empowered and we can get away with anything. So one devotee was saying that even Ajamila was doing service. Ajamila went to the forest to get kusha grass and flowers and fruits for the worship of Narayan Shaligram Shila for his father. And he became a prostitute hunter while he was on service. So service is not going to protect us. There is no way around Vaishnav Sadachar. There is no excuse. We cannot commit Vaishnav Aprad or hurt devotees. So I was reading this another article uh, in the same Krishna Kathamrita Bindu about this topic of uh, hurting devotees. So here, fame falls flat on its face. Krishna says that he is the ability in all humans. Parusham Narshu. Accordingly, we find many gifted individuals in the material world. These individuals often strive hard to reach the pinnacle of excellence in their respective fields of interest in their lives. However, once they do reach the top, there is often only one way left to go, and that is down. So if they have reached the top, then the only thing that would happen is to fall down. Those who are at the top have a great responsibility to lift others to the same heights that they have achieved. If instead of lifting others up, they start looking down upon others, such an attitude marks the beginning of their downward journey. In our devotional lives, this can happen very easily. Some of us wish to achieve Krishna and become recognized as an empowered devotee. However, in the process, we often end up neglecting Krishna's devotees, and this leads to a downfall. This happened with the personality named Trinavarth. So, Trinavarth, he was a demon, he was a whirlpool demon who came in Krishna's pastime, whose downfall is described by a devotee poet. So this devotee poet, he's analyzing the character of Trinavarta, and he's saying, even though one may attain great heights in life, and even though one may hold the Lord very close to one's heart, one will certainly fall if one disregards and hurts the devotees who are surrendered to the Lord. So there is this Trinavarta demon, he picked up Krishna, and he was keeping him close to his heart, and he took Krishna up in the air. So he's saying that this Trinavarta, he attained great heights, and he was holding Lord Krishna very close to him, but he disregarded and hurted the devotees. So, as if demonstrating this fact through his personal example, the demon Trinavarta, who had literally risen to great heights in the sky and who was carrying the Lord very close to his heart, fell down and died, having given immense pain to the devotee residents of Gokul. So Trinavarth, he was giving so much pain to the Vrajvasis, um, destroying things, and he took Krishna away, and Yashoda Mai and everybody was crying. And because he gave pain to the devotees, even though he had Lord Krishna right close to his heart and he reached great heights, he fell down. So, so in our pastime of today, Dvivida, also, he was engaged in selfless service to Lord Ram, but he committed Vaishnava Prad in his mind. In Treta Yuga, the offenses in the mind also counts, but in Kali Yuga, the mental offenses don't count. However, offenses always start in the mind, but eventually it comes out. So if we are angry at a devotee in our mind, or mentally we are feeling envious of a devotee, it's just a matter of time that that anger and that envy will manifest into action. Sometime, someday, we'll get the opportunity and we'll vent out that envy and vent out that anger through words or through actions. And when that happens, it becomes a Vaishnava Prad. That mental offense is no longer mental, it has actually become verbal or physical offense. So, so we need to be careful about these mental thoughts as well, if we are becoming angry or envious of a devotee. So how do we deal with fault finding? If you're finding and seeing faults in other devotees, becoming angry or becoming envious of them, we have to helplessly pray to Krishna to please purify us. So when we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, we can pray to the holy name to win over all the anarthas from my heart, and that's the first verse of Shikshashtakam. Cheto darpan marjanam bhava mahadvagni nirvapanam shreya kerava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamrita swadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. While we chant, we can pray, my dear Krishna, please remove all the anarthas from my heart. Please purify me. I don't want to become angry, don't want to become envious of others. Give me Krishna Prem. I want to cry for you. Nayanam Ashrudharya Vadanam Gadgadu Hridayagira. I want to become pure in my heart, nirmal in my heart. I want my heart to become soft like butter. So, like that, we can helplessly pray to Krishna to remove these anarthas from our heart while we chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, that's one thing that we can do. The second thing, I was hearing a class by Vraj Bihari Prabhu, who's in India. He often gives class in the ISKCON Chapati temple. Vraj Bihari Prabhu, he was giving tips what we can remember, and we can apply these tips when we see faults in others. So first, we should be seeing all devotees as servants of Krishna and trying to please Krishna and Guru. And the first thing that we should consider is that the other person is also right. So sometimes different devotees, they have different perspectives on looking at things. Like the number 9, he was given example. You see, from one view it appears as 9, and from the other view it appears as 6. So, but both of the devotees are correct. They're seeing this thing from a different perspective. So the first thing that we can consider is the other person is also right. So then the second thing that we can consider is we can give the benefit of doubt. The other person may not know what is right. So Prabhuji was given example that, let's say, in a temple announcement was made that Mahaprasad is for donors only. But one person came in, he was not a donor, he picked up the Mahaprasad and he left. So what can we think? So we should give him the benefit of doubt. Maybe he did not hear the announcement. So like that, he was giving this example. Is a very simple example we can apply to our situation. What we can consider is that maybe that person does not know what is right. And then what we can use a third principle. The third principle we can consider is his intention was right. So he took that Mahaprasad to give it to somebody else. So somebody, so like that, somebody maybe said something to me or did this to me. It hurt me, but his intention was right. So like that we can consider. And the fourth thing that we can consider is I don't know what is right. So sometimes some people they behave like something with us, and then we think that um, uh, that's not right how he behaved, but we should think that we were not right, that maybe it was my fault. Then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that when faults in others misguide and delude you, have patience, introspect, and find faults in yourself. Know that others can't harm you unless you harm yourself. So um, so we can think that yes, maybe I made that mistake, I it was my fault. So like that, so first we can consider that the other person is also right. The second thing that we can consider, maybe he does not know what is right. The third principle we can consider is his intention was right. And fourth is I don't know what is right. And the fifth is the end result will be right. So let's say somebody doing something wrong, hurting us, we can think that ultimately this person will learn from his mistake. Ultimately, Krishna will set everything right. So the end result will be right. So then Prabhuji was saying that if none of these five ways are working, you are still seeing some faults in others. The sixth thing to consider is something else is right. So you're saying that, for example, um, if someone is stealing this Mahaprasada, you can think, okay, he's doing that, but he does very good kirtan. He gives a lot of money for donation, like that. So we can think that, yes, this person did this to me, but he's doing such a great service for Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. He has so many good qualities, other good qualities. So like that, we can focus on their other good qualities. And then he said that if this does not work, then the seventh thing to consider is you pray for right. You pray to Krishna that please help him, like that. And if that does not work, the last thing he said should be you write the right. Write the right means you write journals and you write somewhere your thoughts, and also think that if you were a pure devotee, how will you behave? Like Radhanath Swami in one lecture, you were saying that how to become a pure devotee, that you should see through the eyes of the pure devotee. Means whatever situation we are in, think how would a pure devotee react in this situation? And then you react in that way. So what we can do is we can write down our thoughts, and that helps. I've tried it, that you vent out the frustration that you have while writing your thoughts, and uh, recollecting all the examples of the pure devotees you have heard, and how the pure devotees behave in that situation. If they were in that situation, how would they behave? So like that, we so these things that we can remember. I can repeat what he said. The first thing that we should think is that the other person is also right. Second thing, we should think that he may not know what is right. And the third thing he said was his intention was right. And the fourth thing, I don't know what is right. Fifth thing is that the end result will be right. Sixth thing is that something else is right. Seventh thing is that you pray for the right. And the eighth thing is that you write the right. So like that, there's some tips that we can use to uh, talk us back out of fault finding. If you're seeing faults in devotees, because the first thing, when we see faults in others, is that would stay in our mind, and it will lead ultimately for us to be committing Vaishnava Prad. So it is very important that we stop this fault finding and be convinced in our mind to ignore these faults and like that. So now going back to the pastime of Dvivida Gorilla, Ram and Lakshman, Treta Yug finished. Ram and Lakshman returned to their abode, but Dvivida was left behind. And Dvivida in Dwapar Yug, he made friendship with Bhaumasur and he became a Pakka demon. And because he had envied Lakshman in Treta Yug, in Dwapar Yug, that same Lakshman he had appeared as Lord Balram. And now Dvivida, he was targeting all his anger at Balram. And because of, it said that because of envy, we cannot see the person who is the object of our envy happy. So here we see that Dvivida, he saw Balramji, how he was enjoying with the gopis, and he became envious. And he could not tolerate seeing Balramji enjoying and being happy. And so he came to create a disturbance. So the lesson for us is that about this envy, a devotee is not never envious. He is always para sukha sukhi and para dukha dukhi. When other devotees they are getting mercy, other devotees are getting recognized, they are getting empowerment, and we should feel happy. Then we are a devotee. And if other devotees are going through some trouble, some difficulty, then we should feel sorry and we should wish to help them. Then we are a devotee. But if we are para sukha dukhi, and thinking that, oh, this devotee is giving such a nice, that everybody is joining his class and he's leading this nice kirtan, everybody is glorifying him like that. If we have these negative emotions, then we are far away from pure devotion. And we should also not be para dukha sukhi. And we should not be happy seeing others in distress. So like that, if somebody is giving us some trouble, uh, like somebody is envious towards us, we should always pray for that person. Like Prahlad Maharaj prays in Srimad Bhagavatam. This verse is there. Swaste astu vishwasya khala prasidatam dhyayantu bhutani shivam mithodhiya मनश्च भद्रम भजतात धोक्षजे आविष्यताम no materape ahetuke. Prahlad Maharaj is praying for the entire world to become a devotee. May there be good fortune throughout the universe. May all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga, for by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thought of Him. So devotee always wishes well for others, even for envious persons. He wishes that may Lord Krishna give him mercy and may quickly that person becomes a devotee. So whenever we are feeling angry at someone, let's just say this prayer in our heart that may Krishna make that person a nice devotee, and that will solve all the problems. So I was reading this book by Giriraj Swami, I'll Build You a Temple. And that's one thing that really struck me. In this book, we hear that we have two personalities, Mr. and Mrs. Nair, who sold their Juhu temple property to the devotees. Uh, the reason was to cheat them, basically, to get their money and then get them into a legal battle and get back their property. So this was their intention, and they were so envious of the devotees. They were giving them so many troubles. Um, we hear that Mr. Nair, he got a heart attack and he passed away. But after his death, his wife, she continued the fight against the devotees, and she sent many gundas to threaten the devotees, and they burnt down the whatever the temporary accommodation the devotees had built on the temple property. And she sent police to arrest the devotees. She would cut their water supply, their electricity supply, like that, and just was giving them so much torture. And it was a long legal battle, and Giriraj Maharaj and other devotees, they would go every day morning, early morning, they would go to the courts, and the entire day they will spend in the court battling this, doing the paperwork and working with the lawyers. So it was just so much of a hellish condition was created, and many devotees got fed up and they left the Juhu temple and went somewhere else to perform service. But Giriraj Swami, he never gave up. But it's mentioned that when Srila Prabhupada came to the Juhu land, he asked his disciples to set up a meeting with Mrs. Nair. And Although Srila Prabhupada, he was fully aware of all the disturbances and torture Mrs. Nair had done to the devotees. Um, it is mentioned that in this meeting, Srila Prabhupada uh, with Mrs. Nair, I'm going to read the exact statement. Srila Prabhupada told her with kind hearted tenderness. That's the first thing Srila Prabhupada told Mrs. Nair when he met her first time. You are my daughter. I love you. I will take care of you. That's what he told her. You are my daughter. I will take care of you. And Mrs. Nair bowed down at his feet and burst into tears. She bowed down at Srila Prabhupada's feet and burst into tears and said, I am sorry, she implored. Please forgive me. I didn't intend all these things to happen. Now I just want to give you the land and be merciful again. Prabhupada touched her head gently. Don't worry, he consoled her. I will see to all your needs for the rest of your life. So that was the end of uh, the year-long battle that devotees were facing with Mrs. Nair. Prabhupada got the end to that battle in just one meeting, and just by Prabhupada's forgiveness and showing his kindness to the envious persons, Prabhupada was able to win over her heart. So we can see how the exalted devotees, they are so compassionate in their hearts, even to the most envious people who did so many wrong things to the devotees. Prabhupada was very forgiving. So here, I was reading Giriraj Swami about enviousness. This is one pastime. Giriraj Swami, one day in Surat, when Srila Prabhupada was taking his massage, I asked, so Giriraj Swami is asking Srila Prabhupada, how can we deal with envy? I knew that I was envious, and I knew that envy was bad. Before I asked the question, I had been considering the subject, and I had come to the conclusion that there was no use in being envious, because Krishna is unlimited, and Krishna's service is unlimited, and Krishna's mercy is unlimited. So here specifically Giriraj Swami Maharaj is talking about envy towards other devotees. How can we not be envious of other devotees? Or we should think that uh, Krishna is unlimited and Krishna's service is unlimited. Everybody can serve Krishna, and Krishna can be merciful to everyone. So if someone has some special service to Krishna or is getting some special mercy from Krishna, it doesn't really prejudice my chances, because there's unlimited service and unlimited mercy. So if somebody else is getting mercy of Krishna, then this does not mean that I cannot get mercy of Krishna. So that's like a materialistic thinking, that if somebody got something, that this means that I couldn't get it. But because that does not apply to spiritual um, things, because Krishna is unlimited and his mercy is unlimited. But at the same time, being envious was hurting my Krishna consciousness. So I asked Srila Prabhupada what to do with envy. Srila Prabhupada replied by asking, can you think of any reasons why you shouldn't be envious? I had already thought of many reasons, so I said yes. And Srila Prabhupada said, to be envious of someone means that you don't like that person. That not like that not liking should be directed against the demons that are causing so much trouble to the devotees and so much havoc in the world. That not liking should not be directed towards the devotees. So, so we can see that we need to put our endeavor in not being envious of devotees. Um, we should talk ourselves out of that. Now, I was hearing that Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that the demons that Krishna kills represents the anarthas, which can be removed by just the mercy of Krishna. And we have several such demons, and which represent all these anarthas, and Krishna kills those demons, and those demons represent um, uh, those anarthas that if we humbly pray to Krishna, then Krishna can remove those anarthas. But the demons that Balram kills represents those anarthas which can be removed not just by the mercy of Balramji alone, but also we need to put our endeavor. So it needs both the mercy of Balramji and it also needs our own endeavor. So this Dvivida gorilla, who's representing envy, um, towards devotees. We should put our own endeavor um, in stopping this tendency of becoming envious, and directing our envy towards the demons, not to the devotees. I was hearing this pastime of Maharaj Pratap Rudra. This Maharaj Pratap Rudra, we know in Chaitanya Charitamrit, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was refusing to meet with King Pratap Rudra. But then when Pratap Rudra, he got the mercy of devotees. He gave full pension to Ramananda Rai, and gave him the allowed him to go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to do full service for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he got the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, and he followed the instruction of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and he also did humble service in front of the Jagannath Rath Yatra card. So he did all this because he was determined to get the mercy of Krishna, and he went to Krishna through the devotees. And we hear that after the Rath Yatra festival, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was resting in the garden, and Maharaj Pratap Rudra comes there, and he started massaging his lotus feet, and he started singing this Gopi Geet. Tavakrathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhir iditam kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Bhuvi Grananti Ye Bhurida Jana. So when Maharaj Pratap Rudra he sings this particular verse, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he at once embraces him, and his Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's tears are flowing, and he's embracing Maharaj Pratap Rudra and saying that you are most magnificent. Who are you? Who are you who have come here and given me the nectar of the Gopi Geet? And then Maharaj Pratap Rudra says this verse. Um, he says, Raj kahe ami tomar dasera anudas vrittera vritte kara e mora ash. So the Maharaj Pratap Rudra, when he was asked, who are you? He said, my lord, I am the most obedient servant of your servant. It is my ambition that you will accept me as a servant of your servant. So that was his mood. And Maharaj Pratap Rudra, and then he got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He got embraced by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he got his special mercy. And then it's mentioned that um, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was bestowing his mercy to King Pratap Rudra, what did the other devotees do, or what did they think? They started glorifying the king with great happiness. So here this verse, Pratap Rudrera Bhagya Dekhi Bhakta Gane Rajera Prashamase Sabhe Anandita Mane. Seeing the Lord's special mercy upon King Pratap Rudra, the devotees praised the king's good fortune, and their minds became open and blissful. And in the purport, Prabhupada writes, so all these devotees, they began praising the good fortune of Maharaj Pratap Rudra. This is the characteristic of a pure Vaishnava. He is never envious. If another devotee receives the mercy and strength of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a pure Vaishnava is very happy to see a person elevated in devotional service. Unfortunately, there are many so-called Vaishnavas who become envious to see someone actually recognized by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is a fact that no one can preach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message without receiving the special mercy of the Lord. This is known to every Vaishnava. Yet there are some envious people who cannot tolerate the expansion of this Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. They find fault with the preacher who has spread this movement and do not praise him for the excellent service he has rendered in fulfilling Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. So this is one pastime. We can see how the exalted devotees, they think when they see that somebody has attained a special mercy of Krishna or Guru, then they should always be appreciating and glorifying the service of the other devotees. And Prabhupada mentions in his letter, we should utilize our talents without being envious of others. You should do your best, but you should not be envious of others. In material life, there is simply envy of others' progress, but in spiritual life, one encourages another. Oh, you are doing very nice. This is Radharani. She says, oh, here is a very nice devotee. So Radharani says, oh, this devotee is very nice. He's better than me. Please accept his service. So that's the mood of Srimati Radharani. Please, Krishna, you accept him. And we also have that famous purport where Prabhupada is saying that everyone should be friendly for the service of the Lord. Everyone should praise another's service to the Lord and not be proud of his own service. And this is the way of Vaishnav thinking, Vaikuntha thinking. There are many rivalries and apparent competition between servants in performing service, but in the Vaikuntha planets, the service of another servant is appreciated, not condemned, and that is Vaikuntha competition. So we should encourage each other and praise each other's service so that we can all do better service for Krishna and not become envious. So that's one of the lessons that is coming from this Dvivida Gurula's pastime. Also, because Dvivida, he was envious of Lakshmana, and Lakshmana represents Guru. It also shows the mentality of being envious towards our own Guru, Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru. And I was reading in Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, there is a chapter, a threat against ISKCON. And it's mentioned in this chapter that in Los Angeles temples, Srila Prabhupada was noticing that there was some conspiracy was going on against him, and Srila Prabhupada he was not allowed to get on the Rath Jagannath Rath Yatra cart, while other devotees were allowed, and the letters from his disciples were being withheld, not given to him, thinking that they're not important. And Srila Prabhupada's name on his new book that was released was misspelled, and it was mentioned that it was only mentioned as AC Bhaktivedanta. Srila Prabhupada was omitted. That word Srila Prabhupada was omitted, and his divine grace was omitted, like that. So there are so many things Prabhupada was noticing at that time, and Srila Prabhupada was thinking that, and there was big propaganda that was also created by his god brothers in India, and they said that this title Prabhupada should not be given to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Oh, sorry, it should not be given to Srila Prabhupada. It only belongs to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So like that, there were many incidents where Srila Prabhupada felt threatened that devotees are becoming envious of the Acharya, the Guru. And Srila Prabhupada at that time, he sent an urgent telegram to Tamal Krishna Maharaj asking him to come and rescue him. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he came and he set everything right, because people, they were becoming mad for power. They were thinking, I should be the Acharya. I know everything. Why Prabhupada? Why Prabhupada is Acharya? I am the Acharya. So like that, it was a scary situation at that time. How Maya can make us envious of our own Guru. We start competing with the Guru and we start finding faults in the Guru. And that is the Dvivida mentality, competing with our own Guru. Uh, and Lakshmana, who is the um, he was competing with Lakshmana, who was the Adi Guru. So like that. So, if we have this envious mentality towards a guru, how can we make progress? Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado. Yasya prasadat nagati kotopi. That by the mercy of spiritual master, we receive the benediction of Krishna. Without the grace of spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. So, and it's mentioned that if we get the grace of the Guru, then we can do so many extraordinary things. Mukum karoti vachalam, pangum langaite girim, yat kripatam ham vande, um, Sri Guru Dinatarinam. So by the mercy of Guru, a dumb man can become an eloquent speaker, and a lame man can cross the mountain. So that's like the mercy of the Guru, and we can become so much. But if we displease the Guru, then we can certainly fall down. So I can end here, but in this Balram Purnima, we can remember this pastime that we read. We can remember to be a humble and submissive servant of the servants of Krishna. We should not be envious of anyone, not be envious of our Guru. We should not be doing any fault finding. And for destroying all these anarthas, we need Balramji's mercy, and we need to put our own endeavor. And if you remember these demons, we discussed three demons today. Dvivida Gorila, who represents pride and fault finding and envy, and Bhaumasur, who represents association with those who are proud and envious, and Banasur also represents pride. These three demons we discuss, and these three demons, if you remember these demons and the lessons from them, then we can stay alert and be cautious in our dealings, and we can catch our mind when it starts to uh, digress. So I'll stop here. Thank you everyone for hearing.
Hare Krishna, that was a very wonderful class. Very, very nicely, nice realizations and nice content. So, anybody like to say anything? Any comments from anybody?
It was a
Sorry.
very nice class, Mataji. Very nice class, and really enjoyed. I didn't understand. I mean, I didn't know about that Baumasur and his why he's taking the revenge with Balram and all these things. This is the first time I'm hearing. So it was so good, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Dev Sharma.
No, very, very nice class, Mataji. Yeah, we appreciate it. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Comments from anybody? I would like to ask, where is that story about Gayatri? It's in Prabhupada's lecture.
Yeah, I heard it in a lecture by a devotee, and they said it was Srila Prabhupada's story, but I have not found it. I'll find it.
Yeah, I would like to see the reference. Yeah, but that's nice. I also miss my Gayatri many times. And I was relating to that actually. That sometimes I don't feel bad also because I justify it. So I'm in a preaching program or in a temple somewhere in some function like that. So, and Gayatri has to be chanted at a particular time only. So, at the three sandhyas. So, I miss, but I don't feel bad. I try to justify, but I think I should feel bad about it. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, Pritish want to say something.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So much for class. I actually liked the points that you mentioned. You heard from one of these from temple. Is whenever you get chance, could you just share those 8 points because I feel those are really really practical, honest. Thank you again.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll share. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I was also thinking sometimes when you're in a position of authority, then you have to find the fault because, like, if you're in a management, something is not being done right, then you have to find fault also because, like, if you're a parent to a child, then you have to see fault in the children. If you're in management, you are supposed to safeguard Krishna consciousness movement. So all those points we should remember. But sometimes when there is a fault, if you don't point out the fault, then the fault becomes aggravated, and then later on it becomes a bigger problem to uh, to resolve. Right? Any comments?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. I was also thinking Chaitanya, even Srila Prabhupada, and I lived in the temple for a while. Our temple president, yeah, they are strict. I mean, but they are very loving also at the same time. So, yeah.
Yeah, like in our temple, somebody, I don't know, somebody was putting some items in the refrigerator, like maybe non-vegetarian and all these things, outside items, and then we had to tell, okay, this is not the place like that to can stay, but you cannot bring things from outside and put inside the refrigerator because it's a temple, it's sacred. Sometimes people come and they may not know, that is another thing, but we have to tell them. It's like what they do is put Bhagavad Gita on the floor. And of course, they don't know. Western people, they don't know. And they sometimes put their feet out, in front of the deities, like they as if they are relaxing, they are just put their outstretched leg in front of the deity. So, of course, we have to tell them, but in a very polite way and knowing that they don't know. So, we have to also correct if we know something is not right. Otherwise, then it'll be very, yeah, that's something I was thinking once. Other points are very good because we may not know the perspective of the devotee. Like Vaishnava Acharyas also, they comment on a certain pastime and then look at it from different perspectives. So, and both the perspectives may be right. So that is also okay. Anything else? Also, I was thinking Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. Sorry, my voice is a little bit. Uh, when he also sat where when he went to see the Mayavadis, Prakashananda Saraswati, and all other his how many 60,000 disciples. Then he sat near the place where they were washing their feet. And then, of course, that he exhibited his Brahman effulgence. Then, but he conquered this way by humility, his humility. Prahlad Maharaj also says, when he is pushed forward, you go and offer prayers to Lord Nrsingadev. Prahlad Maharaj says, who am I? All the great demigods, they cannot offer prayers. They are not able to pacify the Lord. Who am I? I'm born in a family of asuras. What is my qualification? He doesn't think that I am the chosen one. I am the one. Brahma is telling me to go and offer prayers. And in that purport, Prabhupada writes, unless one feels very meek and humble, he cannot advance in Krishna consciousness. Because only in humility we can access mercy. If we are proud, then we think, I don't need to depend on Krishna. I can do things on my own. So then spiritual advancement becomes troublesome. Also, when you were mentioning about Sudama's pastime, when Sudama is going back to his place, Porbandar, I think, Dwarka, Krishna has not given him anything. Uh, and Sudama is thinking, oh, Krishna did not give me anything because why? To say, why Krishna did not give me?
Because he thought that if I get wealth, then I will forget him. He's so merciful that he has not given me this wealth so that I can stay fixed in his devotion like that.
Yeah,
That I don't develop pride also.
I don't know. And somebody may think, well, I went, I came so much distance, and Krishna did not give me anything. But Sudama is thinking the opposite. He's thinking, oh, Krishna, it's good Krishna did not give me. Otherwise, I would become proud. I would be carried away by sense enjoyment. Then I would have forgotten him. He's so kind. It is incredible consciousness like that. Yeah, thinking if this poor wretch suddenly becomes rich, he'll forget me in his intoxicating happiness. Yeah. Compassionate Lord did not grant me even a little wealth. So, okay. Also, I was thinking we shouldn't become proud, but we should discriminate. Judging and discrimination is kind of a discriminate between proper association and not proper association. We may not criticize anybody, but we have to make a call, as to who we should associate with, who should not be associate with. Uh, that discrimination has to be there, right?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. Like when Sugandha was reading that about what was it? What was his name?
Hmm?
Kanchi. What was his
Kanchipurn.
name?
Kanchipurn.
Kanchipun. Kanchipun. Yeah, that was. I was also thinking that. I mean, in COVID, it is as it is very difficult to serve devotees. But he was rendering such. He was personally serving that devotee. like in the cowshed. And yeah, I mean, practically, how do we apply this in our own lives? We are, as it is, we are busy with our own lives and so much going on. I was thinking, how should we render such personal, menial service to other devotees?
Yeah, the service is of two types, Vani and Vapu. More than the Vapu service is Vani service. Vani service means we hear the devotee submissively and then we follow the instructions of the devotee. But whenever we get a chance, definitely we should be doing menial service. But if we don't have that physical presence of Guru or the devotee, then we should hear submissively. And then there's so many opportunities that we can help the devotees even while we are not in physical presence.
That
Yeah, true.
sorry, go on, Mata.
No, I was just acknowledging what Sugandha said. Yeah, Vapu service. Yeah, Vani also. Yeah. Go ahead, Mataji.
Yeah. Mataji, that Kashipur, what's his name?
Kanchipur.
Kanchipurna. He was serving the Lord Varadaraja, and I heard, yeah, what you were all telling was correct. And I heard that every day after serving the Lord, he used to go in the night, and one of the devotees or one of his assistant, he used to carry a light or a lamp along with him to his house. So that, and one day he asked him whether he's going to Vaikunta or not.
Mm.
Then I heard this from Nitai Sevini. She only had mentioned this. And then Varadaraj Swami tells, yes, he will go definitely, and you are not eligible to go again. So that's just I heard that one. What I heard about it.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Yes,
Thank you
thank you.
for telling us that story, Mataji. It was so good. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Also, Prabhupada, he did not have too much personal association with his Guru Maharaj, but he served his Guru Maharaj by following his Vadi instructions to print books and to preach in the West. So he became like so much empowered because of his attitude of service. So we hear that Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada met Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada only a few times in his life. He was a householder and he had many, he was having a business and pharmacy, and so he could not do so much at that time. Uh, but he followed the instruction. So yeah, so Vadi Seva is important. Now I was also thinking that maybe Kanchipurna was serving the deity because his Guru Maharaj had told him. So wasn't he not serving deity? Why did Varadaraj said? Because the Vani Seva of a devotee is also to engage in Krishna's service. So I was just trying to, if anybody has any thoughts, they can share.
Maybe he wants to show through this pastime because this is a very famous one for as a lesson to us, like how. And then he did service to his god brother. So doing service to Guru, many people can do service to Guru, but they would not be doing service to their equals, or yeah, humbly submissive to their equals. So this is also showing that we can become a humble servant of our god brothers and equals.
I also asked Giriraj Maharaj when he was, I have to hear that. Thank you for that answer. Yes, sometimes we only serve our Guru, means our Diksha Guru, but we don't consider, the service of other devotees very. So we should also serve other devotees. It's Vaishnav Seva, Guru Vaishnav Seva. So, because I was asking one time, Giriraj Maharaj had come, so I said, well, Vani Seva is also whatever the devotee says, if you are following that, like chanting 16 rounds, preaching Krishna consciousness, that's what all Prabhupada wants us to do. So, how are we not engaged in in the service of the Guru? Because we are following the Vani Seva, doing Vani Seva to the Guru. I think he gave some answer I can't remember right now. It's in one of the classes in ISKCON Columbus. So, okay. So, when Vapu is there, as you were saying, yeah, we should serve the Vapu. Vapu is not there. Of course, Prabhupada said, ISKCON is my body. Right? So, serving in ISKCON, in serving all the devotees, serving Srila Prabhupada's Vapu. So, at my initiation, Bhakti Charu Maharaj was saying, Yat karoshi yadashnasi, yat karoshi yadas dadasi yat, tat kurush, what is that? Yat
Yat
karoshi,
tapasyasi kante tat kurushva madarpana.
Bhakti Charu Maharaj, tat kurushva iskon arpanam, was saying that if whatever you do, madarpanam. So he says you should do it as iskon arpanam, serve the movement of Srila Prabhupada. This is his. Uh, so to further the movement, so that is also seva. Okay. And of course, then menial service is also there. And how you were talking about how all this Dvivida, he became corrupted by association and envy with Narakasur association like that. So now we can have association with movies and internet and so much association. Kai also became corrupted by association. So there are so many things we can associate. Actually, when you are seeing a movie, you are associating with the thoughts of that person who has directed the movie. Many people try to emulate or imitate the actors in the movie. Why? Because they think they are their role models. And that is how all these things, the crime comes about, harassment, because if they see in the movie and they think, oh, he's a hero, he's doing like this, so I can also do like. So we can get association in many ways. So these are some things that I was thinking also. Okay.
Quick question. So, how did Narakasur get contaminated? He was the son of the Lord, right? I'm forgetting.
Yeah. So Narakasur is Bhaumasur. He got corrupted by association with Banasur. And Banasur is the one that was
Yeah, to a
serving the
thousand hours
Shiva.
from
Yeah.
Shiva. Yeah.
Yeah. He got
How
killed.
did he associate with Banasur? That we
How
don't know.
did I don't know the details like how, but it's
Mm.
mentioned in the purport that we read.
Okay.
He got association of Banasur.
And Bana
Okay.
was
Thank
a devotee of Lord Shiva, but then he became proud because he had, right? That's what you were saying, that he had
Yes.
thousands.
Yeah. Yes. All the three people we discussed today, Banasur, Bhaumasur, and Dvivida, they all were devotees before. They were serving the Lord, and they all fell down from being a devotee to demon.
I was also thinking about the pastime of Lord Chaitanya with that with Vasudeva the leper. So when Lord Chaitanya embraced this leper Vasudev, and then his body became very beautiful. So he was thinking, now I'm going to become proud because Lord Chaitanya, I've got the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, and I've got a very beautiful body. So people will come to me, and I'll become proud. And he was worried, and he told Lord Chaitanya that I'm worried. So what did Lord Chaitanya say?
Uh, You should chant Hare Krishna and you should teach others Bhagavad Gita. In this way, you will not become proud.
That's what he said. That is also another way to not become proud is to always chant Hare Krishna. Krishna will protect and as much as possible. We have and also preach about Krishna. That's what Lord Chaitanya told Vasudev. We can look at the verses later on. So that is how we can also avoid pride. Also, devotee should not feel that, oh, I'm a devotee and everybody should serve me. That's also I was thinking, He says service of devotees is great. But on our own part, we should not feel that, oh, I'm a devotee, and so I'm a devotee. So why others are not serving? They are not devotees. Because this philosophy you can think in so many ways. So devotee never feels that he's a devotee. He feels that he is servant, and he doesn't feel that I am a great devotee and everybody should serve me. So in this way, but we should think others are devotees. I am not devotee, and I should serve them. It's difficult, but this is okay. Duryodhan also tried to win the favor of Krishna. He came to for the peace deal by making a nice feast for Krishna, but because he was envious of the Pandavas, Krishna did not go to his uh, place. So we cannot get the mercy of Krishna if we are envious of the devotees. And another thing you were saying about there is Prabhupada's, I was looking up Prabhupada's humility. Maybe we can quickly, somebody like to read about how I'm going to share here. How Prabhupada felt, even though he achieved so much success. What did he feel in his heart? He reveals it in his letters and things like that. Somebody like to read?
I can read, Prabhuji. Although my Guru Maharaj ordered me to accomplish this mission, I am not worthy or fit to do it. I am very fallen and insignificant. Therefore, O Lord, now I am begging you for your mercy so that I may become worthy. For you are the wisest and most experienced of all. This is from the prayers to the lotus feet of Krishna in the Jaladuta ship. It is all Krishna's grace that he has sent such a nice assistant to me for executing the mission of my spiritual master. Personally, I am a non-entity. I have come here on the order of my spiritual master, and he has kindly sent you all boys to assist me. So, whatever is being done, there is no credit for me, but all the credit goes to my spiritual master because he has arranged everything, and I am simply to abide by his order. This is from Srila Prabhupada letter. I am just trying to disseminate this message of my spiritual master, and if there is any credit for this service, everything goes to him. Practically, there is no credit for me. If there is any credit, it goes to my spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, who is helping me by sending so many good souls like you in this movement. Whatever is being done, it is due to his divine grace only. So my business is just to carry out his order. That is a way of disciplic succession, and as you have all come to help me, if you also follow the same principles, then our combined effort to serve Lord and Krishna will be surely successful. This is the prediction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As many towns and villages are there all over the world, this Krishna consciousness movement will be spread. So there is no credit for me, but it is only a teeny attempt, an humble attempt. So if one man could do, if you say some success, why not all of us? Actually, I'm dependent on your mercy. If you kindly follow my instructions and continue to push on Krishna consciousness, that will make me very happy. Actually, whatever is happening is due to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, because, because personally I am completely incapable. This is from the letter. When I left your country on the 22nd of July, I had very little hope to come back again, but Krishna informed me that I am not going to die immediately. Therefore, I have come back again to get inspiration of Krishna consciousness from you all good souls. Although officially I am your spiritual master, I consider you all students as my spiritual master because your love for Krishna and service for Krishna teaches me how to become a sincere Krishna conscious person.
So Prabhupada is saying here, I'm learning from all of you, and your service attitude is showing me how to become a sincere Krishna conscious. Mm. Okay, I think we can. This link you can see. Okay, it's a long time now, 8:50, so we'll stop. Thank you very much for the very nice class, and we'll continue. Hare
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Thank you. Nice
Thank
class.
you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavad pranams, Prabhuji. Take care, Prabhuji. You're not feeling well.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.